Millionaire sees his maid eating in the rain. What he finds out will break your heart. The rain poured mercilessly that evening, washing over the marble driveway of the luxurious mansion that overlooked the city. Inside, everything gleamed: crystal chandeliers, polished floors, and a dining table filled with gourmet dishes untouched after a corporate dinner. But outside, just beyond the golden lights, a woman sat quietly under a small patch of cover near the servants' quarters. Her uniform was drenched, her hair stuck to her face, and in her trembling hands was a small plastic lunchbox. She opened it and began eating slowly, her eyes fixed on the dark sky as raindrops mixed with her tears. Inside, Mr. Adrian Cole, the owner of the mansion, watched through the window. He was one of the city's youngest millionaires, sharp, decisive, and respected, but known for keeping a strict boundary between himself and his employees. For him, work was work, and emotion had no place in business. But something about that sight, the maid sitting alone in the rain, stopped him cold. He could afford anything money could buy, yet somehow that quiet image of humility stirred something inside him that money never could. Adrian frowned. Why wasn't she eating inside the staff kitchen? Why was she sitting out there in the cold rain, huddled over a simple meal like it was her only comfort in the world? He decided to find out. Her name was Rosa. She had been working in his house for 6 months. Always polite, never complaining, always the first to arrive and the last to leave. When Adrian's guests were over, she stayed out of sight. When there was chaos in the kitchen, she stayed calm. He had never heard her ask for anything. But now, watching her eat in the rain, something inside him whispered, there's more to her story. The next morning, Adrian called her into his office. Rosa walked in nervously, her head bowed, her hands clasped tightly. "Sir," she said softly, "if I've done something wrong—" "You haven't," Adrian interrupted gently. "But I want to ask, why were you eating outside last night? You know you can use the kitchen." Rosa froze. For a moment, she looked like she wanted to vanish. Then, she took a deep breath and said, "I didn't want to disturb anyone, sir. The kitchen was busy, and I didn't want anyone to see me eat." Adrian frowned. "Why would you care if someone saw you eat?" She hesitated. "Because it wasn't for me," she whispered. Adrian looked puzzled. "What do you mean?" Rosa swallowed hard, tears threatening to spill. "Every night, I take home food for my son. He's sick, and I can't afford proper meals. But last night, the leftover food was already thrown away, so I didn't have anything to bring him. I didn't want him to think I didn't eat either, so I sat outside and pretended to have dinner, just so I could tell him I ate too." The words hit Adrian like a punch to the chest. For a moment, he couldn't speak. All his wealth, his success, his power, none of it seemed to mean anything compared to the quiet strength it took for that woman to sit in the rain just to comfort her child. "Where's your son now?" he finally asked. "At home, sir. He has a heart condition. The medicine costs more than what I earn, but I do what I can." Adrian stood silently for a long time, then said, "Come with me." Rosa blinked in confusion. "Sir," he didn't answer. He simply walked out, gesturing for her to follow. He drove her across town to a small, crumbling apartment building where Rosa and her son lived. The boy, maybe 8 years old, was lying on a small cot, pale but smiling when his mother walked in. "Mama, you're home," he said weakly. Adrian felt his throat tighten as he saw the boy's frail body, the stack of unpaid medical bills on the table, and the almost empty medicine bottle beside him. Rosa's entire world fit inside that small, dimly lit room. That evening changed everything. Adrian arranged immediate medical help for the boy and covered the hospital expenses quietly, telling Rosa it was a company health benefit. But word soon spread in the household, and the other staff whispered in disbelief that the cold, distant boss had done something so human. Over the next few weeks, Adrian visited Rosa's son often. The boy, named Luis, had an innocence that reminded Adrian of something he had lost long ago. His own childhood before his parents' deaths had hardened him. He began to find himself smiling again, laughing at Luis's little jokes, even bringing him toys from his travels. For the first time in years, Adrian wasn't thinking about profit margins or stock prices. He was thinking about people. When Luis's health began to improve, Rosa came to Adrian with tears in her eyes. Sir, I don't know how to thank you. You saved my child's life. Adrian smiled softly. No, Rosa. You save his life every single day before I even knew you existed. You gave him everything you could when you had nothing. I just helped a little. But the truth was, she had given him something, too. Something priceless. Compassion. Perspective. A reminder that humanity still existed beyond luxury walls and corporate meetings. Months later, Adrian established a foundation in his late mother's name, a charity dedicated to helping single parents and children in need of medical care. Rosa became one of its coordinators, her humility and strength inspiring everyone she worked with. And sometimes on rainy days, Adrian would look out his office window and remember that night. The image of a mother eating alone in the rain to protect her child's hope was something he would never forget. It became a symbol of what truly mattered in life. Not wealth, not success, but kindness. Sparkle's inspiring message. You never know what silent battles people are fighting behind their calm smiles. Sometimes, the ones with the least ask for the least and give the most. True wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by how much heart you carry for others.